Hi Fumidelas family, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video I'll be showing you how I made this beautiful boubou dress. Unfortunately I cannot add music to this video because of copyright issues on YouTube. Let's get started. Hello fashion family, welcome back to class. In this video I'll be showing you how I created this beautiful boubou dress you saw at the beginning of the video. You need about 4 yards of fabric. In total I got 6 yards and I made for myself and my daughter from the 6 yards. So you fold your fabric into 4 vertically, then horizontally. So vertically I used about 63 inches for my length, that's including the M allowance. Use your own measurement. And then horizontally you need the measurement from your center back of your neck to the sleeve length. I measured to my elbow length here, so I got 22.5 inches in total. That's because I'm going to be turning it up with another fabric, so I did exact, then added ½ inch to it, okay, for the turn up. Now from there I measured down 12 inches, that is also including the sewing allowances, okay, top and bottom. You don't really have to cut the top, you don't have to divide the front and back into 2, but you can decide to do that if you want. So from there I just curved my arm area inward. You can decide to just use this method or work with a person's measurement, the horizontal measurement. You can decide to place the bust measurement, the waist, and then the hip, then add maximum allowance to it. Add enough allowance, as much as 5 inches extra after placing cut off the measurement for ease, okay, because this particular one I'm making is one size fit all. Okay, so anybody can wear this, but if you're making for a smaller size, you might want to reduce the weight a little, or just work with the person's measurement plus enough ease. So after that I went ahead to shape it down and then I cut it out. Now after cutting, I went ahead to shape my sleeve hem area, that's the part closer to the armpit, to prevent it from getting longer than the top. This is usually common with short sleeve dresses, okay. Then after I was done with that, okay, so I used about 3/4 to 1 inch to do that shaping I just showed you. Then after this I compared the width of this dress with my bust measurements. I realized I was going to be too massive, so I decided to just shape it in a little bit. You can decide to make it as big or as fitted as you want, but this design is actually better when it is bigger, okay, but not excessively bigger. So I decided to give it a little bit of shape around my bust area, yeah, so it kind of give that kind of A-line look, not really A-line, but just give that vibe. Yeah, so that was that. Next thing, I went ahead to give my neckline the desired shape, okay, the most suitable shape. Actually I used 3.5 inches width for both front and back. The length is going to be different because of the neck design, so I gave it a notch, okay. Then for the back neck I went down by 1.5 inches. Remember that we are still going to be sewing it, so it becomes wider when you sew. And then for the front I went down by 10 inches, and then from there you go in by 1 inch. From that 10 inch you go in by 1 inch and connect it to the neck width. And yeah, so that was it. So because I'm going to be sewing a collar to the dress, I needed to measure the neckline. I'll be using this fabric, this beautiful Duchess fabric. So I measured the neck excluding the shoulder seam allowance. I did the same thing for the back. If you're doing cut together, you don't need to exclude any space out of, you just measure everything. You measure everything. And then I think I got 30 inches in total for the neck width of front and back, so I use that as the the width of the fabric. So this is the height is about 2.5 inches. I want the whole height to be 2 inches. Then for the sleeve I'm going to be doing more like the same thing. Now next I went ahead to cut the sleeve turn up fabric, okay, the one I'm going to be using to turn up the sleeve edge. I folded it initially. I was going to start cutting, then I just decided to fold it the other way around and trim off the selvage. There is this finishing usually at the selvage of plain fabric. I don't like to reveal on my dress, so I just took it off, and then I did 3 inches height because I was going to use ½ inch for sewing, and then fold the other edge by ½ of an inch, so that will be leaving with 2 inches height in total. Next, I went ahead to prepare for the patch placement, the front patch placement. I did about 18 inches below the shoulder length, okay, the shoulder line rather. That was around my waist area. So yeah, and then the width should cover the bust span and, you know, beyond a little bit. So I did 10 inches for the width, actually, that's including the folding allowance, and 12 inches for the length. So that was what I cut out from my fabric, and after cutting it out, I reinforced it with stay. And yeah, so that was that. I'm going to show you how I did that later on. So next, I went ahead to sew. Okay, I did the sewing of the shoulder seams, and after doing the shoulder seam sewing, I turned up one side of the sleeve hem. Okay, I'm going to be showing you how I did that. So this is what I did. I cut out the sleeve turn up fabric. I already showed you that when I was cutting it out, and then reinforced it with stay and folded ½ inch from the hem. Okay, so you stitch one side to the sleeve hem, fold the other side, then I went ahead to hold it down with my vanishing gum. So I divided the vanishing gum, that's the one we call M gum, into 2. It's 1 inch in width. I divided it into half so it will be easier for me to fold the other hem. Okay, so here I wanted to gum it down with the dress. After gumming, I later went ahead to stitch it down. You can decide to do just the gumming, but make sure that you really press it so well so it can glue firmly. So I kept on pressing and pressing until I was satisfied. Then I flipped it to the other side to press it to ensure that the sticky mesh has completely disappeared and, you know, it has glued both fabrics together. Then after that, I went ahead to sew the side seams together. If you're attaching your side pockets, you should do that before closing the side seams. I initially didn't want to attach pocket to mine, but after making the dress, I wasn't feeling that vibe of wearing a big dress. You know that vibe you usually have when you are wearing a big dress, you know, when your hands are inside your pockets. I wasn't feeling the vibe without the pocket, so it was later on that I attached my side pocket. Then I went ahead to weave the edges to prevent it from fraying, and then I fixed the patch, the front patch. You should do the front patch before sewing the side seam. I already finished sewing the side seam before I realized that I hadn't done my patch, and that was a bit stressful. Then here I went ahead to sew the neck collar. I'm sorry I didn't film that part where I was preparing the collar, but you know, I told you earlier that I folded the fabric into 2 to have 2.5 inches. I'm going to be sewing ½ inch off, then I'll be left with 2 inches for the height of the collar. Then make sure that your fabric is reinforced with stay if it's as soft as mine. If you're using a thick fabric, that might not be necessary. And after sewing, this was what I have. And then I had already prepared the front patch. I told you the length was 12 inches and then the width was 10. Then I gave it a side slanted cut that you're seeing at the base there. Okay, you can see that. Then I folded all the sides inward, also reinforced it with stay because the fabric is quite soft. I located at the midpoint and gave it a notch. That's the top part. Then located the midpoint of the neck as well, and then I placed the patch on it and I did the sewing from there. and then flip it forward and gummed it to get together with the dress. And this is the final look. Look at that. Look at how how gorgeous I look. And I also rock it together with my daughter. I made her, she loved it. This is her first time of wearing boubou dress, and come on, look at the beauty. Look at that. So guys, give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Also share it on your social media platforms, subscribe, and turn on post notification for more beautiful content like this. Till next time, I remain your full package fashion teacher.